Here are some general organization tips for layers. Number one, making a layer group. So a layer group is a way that we can organize our layers on the layer panel. And it's just a collection of multiple individual layers that have some sort of relationship on why they should be together. So we have a couple ways that we can do this. The long way would be using the layer panel, going to this menu, doing a new group, and I can label it here. I'll just label this as example group. Okay, and my mode actually, I just want normal. Click OK, that's the blending mode. So here's a group. It looks like a little folder. Once I have a group, I can click on my layer and bring them into that group. So now my group, example group, has 2 layers, and I can collapse it or expand it, and it's just a way of organizing it. I can also make a new layer group down here at the bottom of the panel with the new layer group icon. Same thing, I just don't get that little dialog box that pops up right away to rename it, but I can just select it and rename it here. Okay, so those are 2 ways that we can make a layer group for organization purposes. And so the group, I can rearrange in whatever stacking order and they all move together. A good organization tip, especially if you get a lot of layers. Now to duplicate a layer, say I want to duplicate and have multiple flowers. So a couple of ways again that I can do it. With it selected, I can go to the menu and duplicate layer. The faster way is just to take a current layer and drag it over top of the new layer icon. Make sure you don't hit the trash can or you're going to throw it away. So new layer icon, there it is. Now I have a copy. So I have 2, they're actually right on top of one another because it's an exact copy. If I use my move tool and just drag it out, you can see now that I have 2 flowers. Okay. To rename a layer, I can just double click on it, and there we go. So it's good to start naming your layers instead of just letting them be layer 1, layer 2, and on up, because it's going to be difficult as you get more, and especially as your items on a layer are small and you're not able to see them in your thumbnail. Coloring a layer, if I right click, this is the context sensitive menu for layers. So you can see that I actually have a delete layer here, I have a duplicate layer here, I have a group from layer thing here, so I can do some of my options. Here are my color options. Again, just a way to say, hey, I'm working on this layer. When I save it, close it, open it tomorrow, I remember, yep, that's where I'm at. Could be great for just indicating, hey, these are all my text layers. I'm going to have them highlighted with orange. So it has nothing to do with what's on my document, just a sort of, I guess, organizational type of option. Flattening, if for whatever reason I want to smash this. If I am going to hand this off, if I don't want it to be edited anymore, you would use your menu to go to flatten image. It will flatten it. It's going to be gone. You're not going to have the capability of editing, so be cautious when you're doing that. The last thing I want to show you is a way that, again, that we can use for organization, a great tool if you're working with a client. So that is called a layer comp. So it's a panel. I'm going to go under window. Here it is, layer comps. Looks like this, nothing special. But what it allows me to do is save viewing comps. So if I click a new icon here, it's the same icon that we have in layers, except for now this is a new layer comp. So I'm going to make a new layer comp, and I can do this a couple ways. Do a refresh if I've already have the comp made, and it will save that view. Now if I turn these back on and make a new layer comp and say, right, it saved what was visible. So you can either refresh it here if you want to update it, or whatever view you have at the moment, when you click new, it will make that view. So now to go back and forth, I just click. And if you watch my layer panel, it's turning eyeballs off, turning eyeballs on. Visibility icon off, visibility icon on. So if I wanted to show this to a client and I didn't want to say, hey, hold on a second, I'm going to click off, on, off, on. Okay, how do you like this? And then hold on a minute. And then you're doing off, on, off. You could instead say, okay, well, here's an option and here's an option. And so it's a fast way, turn on, turn off for previewing purposes. So that is the layer comp.